subscribe and watch a spine-chilling horror story. Don't forget to press the bell icon without getting scared. This incident was sent by Shovon Das from the state of West Bengal, India. So let's begin. Shovon Das collected this incident in December 2023 while visiting a fair. At that fair, he became acquainted with a jaggery seller. Shovon is a surveyor by profession and travels to different places to collect information for his work. The origin of this story began during a conversation with that jaggery seller. During their conversation, Shovon asked the seller if he knew any ghost stories. The seller remained silent for a few moments and then said, "Sir, you are educated people. How can you believe in such things?" Shovon replied, "I asked because I do believe." The seller then said that although he had no personal experience with ghosts, he remembered a story he had heard from his father in childhood. However, he couldn't tell it at that moment. Later, when Shovon returned to his shop and the seller had almost finished selling his goods, he took the time to narrate the story. The story begins with a man named Nasir Uddin, whose father's name was Giyas Uddin. It is a very old incident, and although the exact year is unclear, the seller mentioned that it likely took place sometime in the 1940s, before India's independence on August 15, 1947. Giyas Uddin was a poor man who lived in a village with his wife and small family. He earned his livelihood by making jaggery. He leased date palm trees from the area, collected sap from them, processed it into jaggery, and sold it in the market. Although the seller couldn't specify the exact place or year, he captivated Shovon Das with the vividness of the story. But the story does not end here. We are left wondering what mystery lies within it, and whether it had any impact on Giyas Uddin's life. Giyas Uddin was a simple, hard-working man. His days were spent farming a small plot of land and collecting sap from date trees. One winter morning, as usual, he woke up early, offered his prayers, and went to work. Despite the dense fog and chilling cold, he did not stop working. That day, he decided to collect sap first from the distant trees before moving to the closer ones later. At some distance from his house, beside a stretch of farmland, there was a dense forest. Even during the day, people rarely went there. Near the forest, he had earlier discovered 13 to 14 abandoned date trees. He cleaned them and prepared them for sap collection. One morning, he went there with his tools. The area around the trees was covered with vines. After clearing 4 trees, while working on the 5th, he pulled a vine and unexpectedly uncovered a pot wrapped in dirty red cloth at the base of the tree. Hoping it contained treasure, he removed the cloth and saw that the pot was tightly sealed. Out of curiosity, he broke it open with his machete. But to his disappointment, there was nothing inside. No treasure, nothing at all. He tried to forget about it and continued working. On his way back home, he thought that if he had found something valuable, it might have eased his life's hardships. 2 days later, something strange began. As usual before dawn, he went back to the forest with a lantern to collect sap, but an odd atmosphere seemed to surround the place. Though he had forgotten the earlier incident, its effect perhaps lingered in the stillness of the environment. Initially, there was no problem, but one day when he reached the spot, he saw something unimaginable. The pot he had hung the previous afternoon was broken on the ground, soaked in sap. Not just one, 7 trees in a row had the same scene. Seeing this, he became extremely angry. He thought someone must have done this intentionally, perhaps some mischievous boys. But why would they come to such an isolated place? Even in daylight, few people came here. It was hard to believe that someone would come at dawn or night just to steal sap. Anyway, he left that area and checked other trees, which were fine. He decided to hang new pots again in the afternoon. He returned home with the sap he had collected. The next morning, the same thing again. The pots under those same 7 trees were broken. This continued for 3 consecutive days. He became deeply worried. Why only these 7 trees? There were many others in the village. If someone wanted to steal, they could have gone elsewhere too. He thought maybe the isolation made it easier. But who was doing it and why? He vowed to catch the culprit and punish them so severely that they would never dare again. That night, after dinner, he went to bed early and woke before dawn. Wrapping himself in a shawl and carrying a thick bamboo stick, he headed toward the forest. He didn't take a lantern, fearing the light might alert the thief. As he moved silently, he saw a vague figure under the trees. Someone was standing there, but he couldn't make out the face. Anger and hesitation filled his mind. He thought, "Today I've caught you. I'll teach you a lesson." But he wasn't sure who it was, so he approached cautiously. Hiding behind a bush, he observed. Though blurred by fog, he could see someone skillfully pulling down pots full of sap, using a long object. Then, in moments, the figure gulped down the sap and smashed the pot on the ground. The same thing was happening to other trees. He was convinced it was a petty thief from the village. Without delay, he rushed forward with his stick and began beating the figure fiercely. The figure let out a strange scream, sharp and eerie, like many baby birds crying together, but louder and terrifying. Despite this unnatural sound, his anger blinded him, and he kept hitting without thinking what the creature actually was. When the scream stopped and the creature fell to the ground, staring at him, he paused. The moment their eyes met, his heart skipped a beat. The creature looked horrifying, like a distorted human. Its body was extremely thin, as if only skin covered bones. Its limbs were abnormally long, with 3 fingers each. Sharp claws, wrinkled sagging skin, and gaps between its teeth were clearly visible. On its head were large horns. The most terrifying moment came when its eyes suddenly lit up like flames. Terrified, he screamed, "Oh God!" and ran in the opposite direction. As he ran wildly, he tripped and fell unconscious. People from nearby houses heard his screams and rushed with lanterns. They found him lying on the ground and carried him home. He regained consciousness a day later, but couldn't speak properly. A local healer was called. That night, he began speaking a little. When asked what happened, he said very little. Despite the danger, he had to continue working to survive. So, the next day, he went back to work, and surprisingly, everything was normal. A week later, one evening while returning from the market, he felt someone watching him. The surroundings were foggy. Suddenly, he heard a strange crying voice from below the roadside slope. He asked, "Who's there?" A voice replied, "Please help me up. I can't climb." He asked for identification. The voice gave a name, someone he knew, but that person lived elsewhere. Suspicious, he tried to leave, but suddenly 2 long, thin hands rose from the slope. Soon, a creature emerged onto the road, its glowing eyes fixed on him. It growled angrily. He recognized it, the same creature he had beaten before. It said, "Giyas Uddin. Thought I forgot? Now you'll pay. I won't spare you or your descendants. I will punish the whole village." It lunged at him. As he tried to run, the creature grabbed him, clawed his back deeply, and blood began to flow. He screamed in pain. A violent struggle followed. The creature slammed him to the ground repeatedly. He thought he would die, but suddenly, a few villagers arrived. The creature released him, saying, "I spare you today, but next time I won't," and disappeared. He was taken home and treated. Though he recovered, he never again went to the forest at night. After 3 months of peace, strange incidents began in the village. Food kept in kitchens disappeared at night. No one saw who was behind it. Then one day, a woman named Kamola's mother came running, screaming her daughter had been killed. Villagers rushed and found Kamola's lifeless body in the kitchen, her abdomen torn open, intestines exposed, blood everywhere. Soon, more similar killings occurred. Within 2 weeks, 8 people died. The village was terrified. Villagers began guarding at night with torches. One night, a young man saw a black figure entering a house through a window. When villagers entered, they saw the same horrifying creature eating food. It escaped again. The terror spread. Giyas Uddin revealed his encounter. The villagers decided to seek help from a spiritual healer. After a long journey, they met an old holy man. He explained that Giyas had unknowingly released an ancient evil force by breaking that pot. It had been sealed for 800 years. Now free, it was killing people. He said only a powerful ritual could stop it, but it required time and strength he no longer had. He advised them to leave the village. Following this, the villagers abandoned the village overnight. Within days, the village became deserted. Giyas moved to a nearby village. What happened afterward remains unknown. Dear listeners, this was a story from a long time ago. I hope you liked it. I also enjoyed sharing it with you. If you liked it, please don't forget to like our channel.